And what tires have you eventually ended up using? Because on the recons, you've been with the Vittorias, I guess?
Yeah.
But
I don't know how I didn't fall off.
You were
Camera. Fuck, how did I save that?
You've been coming too fast.
Yeah, I think so.
Now you had Maxis or which tires?
Recon raised.
2.4s?
Yeah. And I run them pretty low. Like I have the inserts and then I was running them, my front was like 0.8, like 0.8, and the rear was like one bar, so it's quite low.
How did you compare Vittorias versus Maxis in this specific terrain? Because you had Barzo and
the Barzo it's the worst. I mean, it's like to be fair, on stage 4 when it rained, it would have probably been pretty good. But it's a good tire for here in Wales, like where I live.
Where it's muddy
and even in the summer, like it's still soft mud. So it's a good tire for here. But there, it just loses grip. Just you're riding along and then suddenly just boom, it's gone.
So Maxis turned out to be a really good selection, right?
Yeah.
Because of lower tread pattern, probably.
It's a faster tire in the middle, and then it's got like it's quite grippy on the edges.
Holding
so
the side.
Turn the bike. Yeah.
Yeah, and probably also in comparison, Barzo is more like round.
Yeah.
In terms,
definitely.
if we look at the tire from front, it's more round, where Maxis is flat and then round corners a bit. So that's also what holds in place, because I used Maxis in Rock d'Azur last year, and I changed the front and changed the Maxis, and it was day and night experience. So yeah, if someone's racing in Hardpacked, considering lower tires tread pattern is something good to know if it's dry and if it's Hardpacked. But at the start of multiple days, I always look around and see what tires people ride. And you can see like literally every type of tire, from Thunderbirds, which has pretty much no tread at all, to tires which, I don't know, enduro riders might ride. So I can already see that those guys with chunky rubber, who usually stand it at the end of the gates, they are losing like a lot of time just because of the wrong tires selection. But maybe those tires adds confidence for them on the downhills, and that's kind of maybe the reason why they choose those two.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, all the guys that were pretty much everyone in, I'd say, the top 20% of the race was running the Pirellis.
Funny thing, but those Pirellis were very hard to find in Calpes region, so maybe that's the reason they just sold out them.
Yeah, I think so.
What was your tire pressure for the time trial?
I put like 1.1 in the front and like 1.3 in the back.
So it's not that much, because I added 1.4 and 1.5, but considering it was also with insert, it was a bit bouncy. But I will probably create some other video about the use of inserts, because I think that the only good reason they are good is just to save your rims from unexpected hits. Other than that, I believe that they slow you down. unless it's a matter,
point, isn't it? They slow you down unless you have a problem, and then they save you.
The only thing you need to make sure is to keep correct the tire's pressure, basically, so that even when you hit something, it won't hit into the rim. Well, that's what I think it could be it. It felt like the tires are blunt, like they are not responsive enough, and even sometimes, even though I've been running 1.1 in the front and 1.25 at the rear, every hit into the rock felt like it responses back to me. Like, let's say I go the front wheel into the rock, and instead of just swallowing it, it felt always like it returns back at me. And it has nothing to do with the suspension setup, but I am pretty much sure that it has to do with insert, but I was not confident enough to remove the insert from the front, because usually people, there is also the thing that they run inserts at the rear, where in the front they kind of don't add the insert. But because in front I had Dukes, I didn't want to risk smash it because I already got used to like hitting everything straight and that's it. So I don't know, I might try to ride some segment here while I'm still in Spain without the insert in front.
Try running even lower pressure.
Or maybe that, yeah.
Because you ever done cyclocross?
No, never.
So you run really low pressures in cyclocross, like really low, like basically the tires are flat. And I hate the feeling when the rim starts to roll because it feels momentarily like you're about to lose control and that the bike's about to like dip underneath you. And so with the tire inserts, it gives more stability to the tire when you run the lower pressure, so it doesn't like roll, it doesn't like lose its shape. And I think, I mean, if I was descending some of those technical descents and you're kind of turning and it feels like the rim is going to roll off, I would be like, I couldn't deal with that. It gives more confidence that the rim is that the tire itself is like holding its shape.
Yeah, it makes sense. But what's funny is that even though I've been riding 1.1 in front, looking at the tire, like, you know, when you can see how it deforms when rolling on the tarmac, for example, it's very easy to see whether it's squeezed, whether it's not. And I'm looking around, looking at our tires, because I had plenty of time. I'm slow in the climbs. I can look around, see how everyone's passing through me. And it feels like everyone is running significantly higher tire pressure, because I can see that there's tire, like, especially it's good to see when you are riding from the back and you can see whether the rear tire is at least squeezed a bit or not at all. So the way I looked at the others, it felt like I am the fatty boy here, or I don't know. It just felt like majority of people been riding higher tire pressures. Even then, looking at me, what I used, even the inserts, and I don't know, if I lower down the pressure even more, then I would just lose a lot on rolling. Can it be it?
I don't know. I don't think so, because when you look at, like, stage 3 is a good example, like that last 10, 15 kilometers, which so much of it was on tarmac and downhill. I wouldn't say I was pushing like super hard. I was giving whatever I had left, but I wasn't like doing crazy watts, and I was going significantly quicker than a lot of people around me, and my tire pressure is low, right? So,
you know what? You have very good aerodynamics on the bike. I mean, your posture on the bike, on those like flat or fast sections, you bend so much that you increase your aerodynamics significantly, and that also can be beneficial. But trying different tire pressures, something which I am very keen to do, and maybe I will apologize for inserts in the future. At least for now, I don't. And actually, if I am going to stay in this Calpes region for longer, maybe I will remove the insert and go into the Calpes downhill just to see how it feels.
Yeah, see what it's like.
Yeah, because I kind of feel that it might be better, but I'm not exactly sure. So that being said, I was not sleeping really well before the stage 4 because it was raining all the evening, most of the night, and I was during the night awake and thinking like, I don't have any spare tire to put on my bike, because going with Pirellis in those muddy, I didn't even expect it, how muddy it's going to be. Sorry? Thank you. you had Ardent Race or something like that, but you haven't changed it.
I didn't change it because
Yeah.
I just was like, I don't know, I couldn't be bothered. I was too tired.
Yeah. And at the same time, risking to put some tire which you're not aware of is not the best idea as well.
And I was just like, you know, how bad will it be? When it rained a bit on day 2, which made day 3, actually, I found that the trails had more grip. Like, there was actually, it was more fun to ride them. So I was like, maybe it won't be too muddy. It might be okay. But yeah, and also, I mean, I wasn't nervous because I always liked racing in the rain because everyone else gets nervous.
Yeah.
So if you tell yourself that the rain's great because half the field are already out of it, and it's funny because that was almost my saying, oh, half the field don't turn up when it rains. And what happened? Half the field didn't even
show it up. So that kind of says...
So